In the world of gaming, few franchises have left as indelible a mark as Metal Gear Solid. From its humble beginnings in 1987 to its status as a cultural phenomenon, the series has redefined stealth gameplay, storytelling, and player engagement. At its core, it's a tale of war, loyalty, and the human condition, wrapped in a package of tactical espionage, memorable characters, and a whole lot of sneaking. But what makes Metal Gear Solid truly special? It's not just the gameplay or the cinematic cutscenes. It's the way it makes you feel, like you're part of something bigger, something that sticks with you long after the credits roll. This retrospective will take you through the evolution of the franchise, highlighting key moments, innovations, and the indelible mark it has left on the gaming world. Whether you're a seasoned operative or a curious newcomer, grab your bandana, power up your Walkman, and let's dive into the world of tactical espionage action. Let's rewind in 1987, when Hideo Kojima, a young game designer at Konami, had a radical idea. What if, instead of fighting your way through enemies, you avoided them? This concept gave birth to Metal Gear on the MSX2, a console most of us probably never owned. The game introduced us to Solid Snake, a rookie operative sent to infiltrate outer heaven and stop a nuclear-equipped walking tank called Metal Gear. The gameplay was revolutionary. Stealth wasn't just an option, it was a necessity. With limited ammo and no health regen, you had to think before acting. It was tough, it was tense, and it was unlike anything else at the time, setting the stage for the stealth genre. 3 years later, in 1990, Metal Gear 2. Solid Snake was released, also for the MSX2. This sequel expanded on the original's mechanics, introducing crawling, radar, and more complex enemy AI. The story delved deeper into Snake's character and the world around him, setting the stage for the narrative depth that would become a hallmark of the series. Although these games were initially released only in Japan and Europe, they gained a cult following and are now considered classics. With their influence seen in later titles, Kojima's vision was inspired by movies like The Great Escape, aiming to create a game where avoiding conflict was key, a philosophy that shaped the franchise's identity. As he once said, "My first concept was for a game in which you were a prisoner of war and simply had to escape," highlighting his focus on non-combat gameplay. Fast forward to 1998, and Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation changed everything. I still remember popping that disc into my console, wide-eyed and unprepared for what was coming. The opening scene, Snake emerging from the water, the codec buzzing to life, felt like stepping into a Hollywood blockbuster. The voice acting, the cinematic camera angles, the music, it was all so immersive. And then there was the gameplay. Sneaking through vents, using distractions, and yes, hiding in that glorious cardboard box. But what really set Metal Gear Solid apart was its storytelling. The plot was a labyrinth of betrayals, conspiracies, and philosophical musings on war and identity. Characters like Psycho Mantis, who famously read your memory card and made your controller vibrate, broke the fourth wall in ways that blew our minds. I swear, I thought my console was possessed the first time he did that. The game wasn't just fun, it was smart. It made you question the nature of games themselves. And that's when I knew this franchise was something special. With a Metacritic score of 94, Metal Gear Solid sold over 6 million copies and became a cultural touchstone. It introduced innovative features like the Soliton radar, allowing players to see enemy positions and first-person view for aiming, adding precision to combat. The narrative tackled themes of nuclear proliferation, genetic engineering, and identity, making it a thought-provoking experience. As Kojima noted, storytelling is very difficult, but adding the flavor helps to relay the storytelling. Meaning in a cutscene, with a set camera and effects, you can make the users feel sorrow or make them happy or laugh. A philosophy evident in MGS1's emotional depth. In 2001, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty hit the shelves, and it was both lauded and criticized for its bold narrative choices. The game initially puts players in control of Solid Snake, but soon switches to a new protagonist, Raiden, which surprised and upset many fans. However, this twist was part of Kojima's commentary on player expectations and the nature of sequels, a move that sparked debate but is now seen as visionary MGS2 pushed the boundaries of storytelling in games, with a complex plot involving virtual reality, information control, and the manipulation of truth. The gameplay was enhanced, with improved AI, more interactive environments, and first-person aiming. Despite the initial backlash, MGS2 is now considered a seminal work, with a Metacritic score of 96, the highest in the series. Its themes, like the impact of memes and information control, are even more relevant today in the age of social media and fake news, showcasing Kojima's foresight. Metal Gear Solid 3: Snake Eater, released in 2004, took a bold step by setting the story in 1964 during the Cold War. This prequel introduced us to Naked Snake, who would later become Big Boss, and explore the origins of many elements seen in previous games. The shift from urban settings to the jungle required a complete overhaul of gameplay mechanics, focusing on survival. Stealth was no longer just about avoiding detection. It was about surviving in a hostile environment. Players had to manage their stamina by hunting for food, treat injuries with medical supplies, and use camouflage to blend into their surroundings. The camouflage system was innovative, allowing players to change Snake's outfit and face paint to match the environment, adding strategy to stealth. The game's story was a masterclass in emotional storytelling, delving into themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the sacrifices made in the name of duty. The relationship between Snake and his mentor, the boss, was central, culminating in a heart-wrenching finale that left many players in tears. Boss fights, like the sniper duel with the End, which could span hours, were memorable and creative. With a Metacritic score of 91, MGS3 is often regarded as one of the best games in the series, influencing later titles with its survival elements. Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots, released in 2008, was intended to be the final chapter in Solid Snake's story. Set in a near-future world where war has become a business, the game featured an older, ailing Snake on one last mission to stop Liquid Ocelot. It was praised for its stunning graphics at the time and its ambitious narrative that tied up many loose ends from previous games. The gameplay included new mechanics like the Octo Camo suit, which dynamically transformed based on surroundings, and the ability to influence the battlefield by supporting one side or the other. However, it was also criticized for its lengthy cutscenes, with some lasting over an hour. Despite this, MGS4 received a Metacritic score of 94 and is remembered for its emotional impact and fan service, winning several Game of the Year awards in 2008. The microwave corridor scene, where Snake must crawl through a deadly passage, remains one of gaming's most intense moments. After MGS4, the series continued with Metal Gear Solid: Peace Walker in 2010, initially released for the PSP. Set in 1974, it follows Big Boss as he builds his private army, Militaires Sans Frontières. Peace Walker introduced base-building mechanics and co-op gameplay, allowing players to team up for missions, and was later included in HD collections for consoles, making it more accessible. In 2014, Metal Gear Solid 5: Ground Zeroes served as a prologue to the Phantom Pain, setting up the story with a shorter but intense experience. It introduced open-world elements and a more fluid control scheme, preparing players for the full game, and scored 80 on Metacritic, though it was criticized for its length. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, released in 2015, was the final game in the series directed by Hideo Kojima. It took the series into open-world territory, giving players unprecedented freedom in how they approach missions. Set in 1984, it follows Big Boss as he seeks revenge and builds his army, with gameplay praised for its depth and flexibility, including Fulton recovery systems and buddy characters like D-Dog and Quiet. However, the story was criticized for feeling incomplete, likely due to behind-the-scenes issues between Kojima and Konami, who parted ways in 2015, marking the end of Kojima's direct involvement. Despite this, MGSV received a Metacritic score of 93 and is celebrated for its gameplay innovation, encouraging creative playstyles like using a cardboard box with a poster to distract enemies. The Metal Gear Solid series has left an indelible mark on the gaming industry. It practically invented the stealth genre, influencing countless games that followed, such as Splinter Cell, Deus Ex, and The Last of Us, which adopted similar stealth mechanics and narrative depth. Its cinematic storytelling set a new standard, blending gameplay and cutscenes seamlessly, as seen in games like Uncharted. Beyond gameplay, the series tackled complex themes such as the horrors of war, the ethics of genetic engineering, and the impact of technology on society. These themes resonate with players and have sparked discussions long after the games were released. As Kojima said, games shouldn't only be fun. They should teach or spark an interest in other things, a philosophy evident throughout the series. Even today, indie and AAA titles borrow from Metal Gear Solid's playbook, whether in narrative ambition, gameplay mechanics, or breaking the fourth wall. The franchise's influence is everywhere, and with remakes like Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater set for release on August 28, 2025, new generations can experience its magic. The community's love for the series, seen in fan theories, cosplay, and ongoing discussions, underscores its enduring appeal. As we look back on the Metal Gear Solid franchise, it's clear that it's more than just a collection of games. It's a journey through espionage, philosophy, and human emotion. From the pixelated screens of the MSX2 to the stunning visuals of modern consoles, each entry has contributed to a rich tapestry of storytelling and innovation. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or a curious newcomer, there's never been a better time to dive into the world of Metal Gear Solid.